Welcome back to the Life in Words podcast, where ancient wisdom meets modern science to help you live well, stay sharp, and age with strength after 60. Today we're focusing on something many people overlook, yet it may have a profound impact on your brain, a nighttime ritual that could shape the way your brain functions and heals while you sleep. To guide us through this important topic, we've invited someone truly remarkable. He's not just a guest anymore, he's become a beloved voice on this channel. Please welcome back Dr. Masaru Takeda, one of Japan's most respected centenarian physicians. Now, over 100 years old, Dr. Takeda continues to inspire the world with his clarity of mind and compassionate approach to aging. Today, he'll be sharing with us one evening habit that could help maintain mental clarity, especially after the age of 60. Dr. Takeda, thank you for joining us again. It's an honor to have you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be part of this important conversation. And yes, I truly believe that how we end the day determines how we perform the next. It's a simple truth with deep consequences. So let's begin. In your view, what's the single most important thing people over 60 should never forget to do before going to bed? That's a great question. Many people assume that the brain simply shuts down during sleep. But the truth is, sleep is one of the most active times for the brain, just in a different way. While the body rests, the brain gets to work. It processes the day's experiences, organizes memories, flushes out toxins, and repairs essential neural connections. But here's the key: none of that happens efficiently without the right preparation. You must give your brain both the environment and the fuel it needs to do this crucial work. If you go to bed without doing that, you're not just missing a step. You're leaving your brain starving, deprived of what it needs to restore itself. That's exactly right. You're depriving the brain of its natural ability to repair and regenerate. And night after night, that neglect adds up. It leads to groggy mornings, forgetfulness, and that foggy, drained feeling in your head, something no amount of coffee can truly fix. You should never go to sleep without giving your brain what it needs to heal. And the preparation is simple, but absolutely essential. Brain hunger. It's a powerful concept, and one we rarely talk about in the West. Most of us associate hunger with the stomach, but what I'm describing is far more subtle and far more dangerous. It's a lack of nutrients and neurological signals, a deprivation of what the brain needs most during its prime recovery hours at night. It reminds me of my grandfather, sharp as a tack for most of his life. But then, little by little, he started forgetting names, misplacing things, and no one ever thought to ask, what did he eat tonight? Did he eat anything at all? So Dr. Takeda, how exactly does this kind of nighttime neglect affect memory and mental clarity? Imagine the brain as a library. Each night it needs to sort new books, repair damaged ones, and dust off the shelves. But for the librarian to do that, they need light tools and energy. If the system is starved, no nutrients, no soothing signals, then the brain doesn't perform maintenance. It goes into survival mode. Instead of restoring and organizing it, just tries to get through the night. Let me share an example. I once treated a patient named Mr. Yamamoto, a 74-year-old retired school principal. He was highly disciplined and structured in life. He came to me concerned that his memory was slipping. Not dementia, but the little things. Forgetting acquaintances' names, losing track of his keys, walking into a room and not remembering why. It turned out that he had adopted a strict Western weight loss idea, no eating after 6 p.m. What he didn't realize was that his aging brain was being left fasting for 8 to 10 hours overnight, with no protein, no calming nutrients, no support, just sleep and silent stress. I encouraged him to try a simple bedtime ritual, a small bowl of warm tofu soup, some light stretching and deep breathing before bed. Within weeks, his morning clarity returned. He was able to focus longer, recall details better, and his wife told me, It's like he's truly present again. That's what brain hunger really means. Not hunger in your stomach, but a deficit in the nervous system. A lack of rhythm, of reassurance, of gentle mental strength. So this isn't just about a bedtime snack. It's a signal to your brain saying, "You're safe now. It's time to heal." It's like dimming the lights after a concert. A subtle cue that the performance is over. And now, it's time to reset, restore, and rebuild. When that signal isn't sent, the brain doesn't fully relax. It stays on alert, scanning for danger-conserving energy instead of entering the restorative state. In Japan, we believe that evening nourishment is a form of instruction for the brain. But it's not just the food, it's the entire ritual that sends the real message. Soft lighting, slow breathing, the familiar rhythm of a simple evening routine. These are signals to the limbic system, the brain's emotional and survival center. Without these signals, the brain defaults to vigilant mode, half awake, half asleep. That's why so many older adults wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. feeling confused and unrested. Science backs this up. Studies show that a consistent bedtime ritual can reduce cortisol levels, stabilize heart rate, and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, all of which create the perfect environment for memory storage and neural recovery. Why does skipping food at night push the brain into a state of emergency? Let's clarify this because many older adults in the West are told not to eat anything in the evening. But according to you, Dr. Takeda, the issue isn't skipping food. It's the type of food being skipped. Exactly. After the age of 60, the brain becomes more sensitive. Blood flow decreases, hormones shift, and most importantly, the body enters catabolism more easily. That means it starts breaking down tissue, including brain tissue, to produce energy during extended fasting. So what happens when you go to bed on an empty stomach? The brain sends out a distress signal. We're out of fuel. And instead of entering recovery mode, it switches to defense mode. Instead of storing memories, it conserves energy. Night after night, this pattern leads to decreased alertness, slower cognition, and while the effects may not be obvious right away over time, it becomes your new normal. That's incredible. So what kind of fuel is best? What should people over 60 eat before bed to protect their brains? And is this bedtime ritual just about food or something deeper? What would a full Japanese-style evening ritual look like, one that nourishes body, heart, and spirit? Think of it as a warm message to the brain. Light protein, calming minerals, gentle energy. In Japan, that might be as simple as a warm bowl of miso soup with tofu. Miso aids digestion. Tofu provides brain-supporting amino acids, and the warmth itself calms the nervous system. Other good options include a soft-boiled egg with steamed greens or a small portion of white fish cooked with ginger. Not too much, not cold, just clean, warm, and easy to digest. You'll want to avoid sugary, cold, or heavily processed foods which disrupt the body's natural circadian rhythm. Shin ichino, the unity of body and mind before sleep. That makes perfect sense. And it reminds me so many older adults have never even considered this approach. But you mentioned earlier that the evening ritual isn't just about food. There's something deeper. Yes, I'd like to share a principle we hold dear in Japan, Shin ichino, which means the unity of body and mind. This means the ritual doesn't end in the kitchen. We encourage creating a fully peaceful environment. That includes turning off electronic devices at least 30 minutes before bed because the blue light from screens disrupts melatonin production and keeps the brain locked in daytime mode. Instead, we might light a candle or open a window for fresh air. We slow the rhythm of the household. Even reading a physical book, especially poetry or spiritual writings, can gently guide the mind toward rest. And you mentioned a breathing technique as well. Yes, breath is the key. We practice a method called hara, breathing a deep, slow breath into the abdomen, with the exhale longer than the inhale. Just 5 minutes of this can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, reduce cortisol, and slow the heart rate. The message to the brain is simple. It's time to let go. Pair that with a calming cup of herbal tea, or even jotting down a few things you're grateful for, and you've created a multi-sensory ritual, a gentle transition into the brain's nightly repair mode. I love the idea of a gratitude list. Gratitude, it's a small word with powerful science behind it. Studies show that people who practice gratitude sleep better, are less prone to depression, and even have sharper memory. It seems that just acknowledging the good in our lives starts a chain reaction in the brain that releases stress, resets the system, and allows deeper healing. Exactly. This isn't just philosophy, it's scientifically proven. A study published in Applied Psychology Health and Well-Being found that people who wrote down 3 things they were grateful for before bed experienced longer and more restful sleep. Another study from UC Davis showed that regular gratitude practice improved sleep quality, lowered blood pressure, and boosted immune function. Gratitude reduces the brain's perception of threat. It activates areas in the prefrontal cortex responsible for emotional regulation and calmness. So it's not just a nice feeling, it's a true neurological remedy. You've mentioned rhythm a few times. Can you explain why timing matters perhaps even more than the type of food itself? Because the brain operates in cycles, and those cycles are influenced by light, sound, and food. If you eat, sleep, and stimulate the brain in a chaotic way, the brain won't know when it's safe to rest. But if you eat at the same time, move gently, and breathe deeply in rhythm, your body receives a clear message. It's safe now. You may recover. That brings us to another vital topic: movement. I know you've said that healthy aging is not just about eating well, but also about practicing gentle, mindful movement before bed. So what should that look like? Exactly. Before nourishing the brain with food, we must nourish it through movement. But not intense exercise, not stress. I'm talking about slow, intentional movement. Just 5 minutes is enough. Start by gently rolling the neck, then the shoulders. Slowly bend forward at the waist. Finally, sit down and breathe deeply. Each motion should feel like an invitation to let go of tension. Why does this work so well? Because light movement increases blood flow, calms the sympathetic nervous system, and opens the brain's recovery mode. And when you pair that with the right nourishment, the brain soaks up nutrients like a sponge. You're giving your mind the tools it needs to clear waste, store memory, and rebuild neural tissue. So the order matters. Movement first, then nutrition. Not the other way around. Absolutely. Movement is the invitation. Food is the offering. When done in the right sequence, you're sending a clear message to the brain. The day is complete. Let the healing begin. But what about those who say they can't eat at night? It gives them heartburn or disrupts their sleep. That usually means they're eating the wrong type of food at the wrong time. A heavy late-night meal will certainly cause discomfort, but a small, warm, liquid-based meal that's easy to digest can be deeply restorative. For those with sensitive digestion, gentle fermented options like a small bowl of miso soup or even a teaspoon of umeboshi, pickled Japanese plum, can be incredibly helpful. These nourish the gut, and as you know, the gut controls the neurochemistry of the brain. And how does that connect to memory? Because that's one of the biggest fears people over 60 talk about. They're afraid their memory is slipping away. I hear that all the time. Phrases like, "I don't know where I put my glasses," or "I forgot that person's name." And it brings fear that something irreversible is happening. But memory isn't just fading, it's something we can nurture and protect. Memory is built during sleep, but not just any sleep. It requires deep, stable sleep, which only happens when blood sugar is balanced, cortisol is low, and the neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA are supported. The evening ritual we're describing does all of that. It stabilizes glucose, lowers stress hormones, and boosts the chemicals that help you relax and consolidate memory. You're truly shifting how we think about aging. We often assume memory loss is inevitable, but you're saying it's not due to aging, it's due to a lack of nourishment. Exactly. The brain is not weak, it's hungry, it's thirsty, and it operates on rhythm. When we ignore that we age faster than we should, but when we nourish it, move gently, and sleep deeply, even in our 90s, the mind can remain clear. I've seen it, and I've lived it. What about beverages? Are there any you recommend, or any that should be completely avoided? Avoid anything cold, sugary, or caffeinated. No sodas, no alcohol, no green tea at night. Instead, sip warm, calming drinks. Chamomile tea, a little warm barley water, or golden milk turmeric and black pepper in almond milk. These drinks soothe the gut and help the brain prepare for sleep. And for someone just starting this tonight, what's the simplest way to begin? Very simple. Boil water. Stir in 1 tablespoon of miso. Add a few slices of soft tofu. Sit down. Breathe. Sip slowly. Then, stretch for 5 minutes. Roll your shoulders. Bow your head forward. Reach for your toes. And quietly say to yourself, I'm preparing my mind for clarity. After that, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Even if it's just warm socks, a good book, or someone's smile. That tiny act closes the day with peace and helps the brain remember the positive. It's how you tell your brain, I choose to rest in fullness, not in fear. Final message. Memory doesn't fade because of age. It fades because it's forgotten. That's so beautiful and simple. And perhaps it's that simplicity that makes it doable. Many seniors feel overwhelmed by complex health advice, but this ritual feels like a gift you give yourself. And that's the key. Healthy aging isn't about force, it's about rhythm, consistency, and gentle strength. Dr. Takeda, thank you. This isn't just advice, it's an invitation. An invitation to end the day with intention and give your brain what it truly needs, not what we assume it does. Yes. And to all of you listening, I leave you with this. Memory doesn't fade with age. It fades with neglect. So tonight, remember your mind. Nourish it. Soothe it. And it will remember you. As always, words of deep wisdom to close our conversation. To our beloved listeners, we are grateful for you. If this message spoke to your heart, please consider subscribing to Life in Words or supporting us with a small contribution via the link in the video description. We'll see you next time. Sleep gently and stay sharp.